So here we are in the Pruning Raspberries, the Prelude rows. These raspberries produce 2 crops per year for us. One in the summer from last year's growth and one in the fall from this year's growth. And you can look at the canes and you can see the difference between the 2 production patterns. This cane here, you can see it has branches on it on the side, and while a lot of it's fallen off, you can see that these branches had fruit on them and fruiting clusters. And it's fruited all the way down the cane and at the tip. This branch is completely dead and nothing ever is going to happen to it again. You can clip it out or just break it off. They snap off super easy and just make them go away. The other kind of cane that's present, and I'll just looking here at this one spot, here's another one of those canes that's completely dead. Snapped off and go away. Here's another one, completely dead, snapped off and go away. Here's another one, completely dead. Here's another one, completely dead. You want to remove all of those right off. And I'll just, while we're working right here, I will take a bunch of those away. By doing that, I thin out the row, and you can see what's left after the completely dead canes go. You'll want a pair of pruners for where they're uncooperative, but now I've removed most of the dead canes from here, and I want to look at the live canes that are left. Almost all of them that are here fruited in the fall, and we harvested them back in September and October. You can see just at the tip that there's the remnants of a fruiting cluster here. However, these are going to fruit for us again this early in the summer by putting up fruiting branches from the side, just like the ones that we just took out. The only thing that we need to do here is remove the tips. They're not going to grow again. There's nothing valuable that comes from it. Finally, we're going to look at overall what's here. We don't want to leave all of the canes. We'd rather leave strong, vigorous canes like this one that reach all the way up to the trellis wire if they exist. In spots like this where they're not so vigorous, we're going to keep the most of the vigorous ones. And we want to remove the cluster so that there's somewhere between 3 and 6 canes left here. And just like I was talking about previously in the gooseberries and currants, we don't really care as much for the canes that are moving out of the row out into the alleyways. So I'm just going to remove a couple of these that seem to be problematic. On the other side as well, remove a few that are way out of the row. Clipped them off right at the ground. Happen to be here, I'll try to pull out a little bit of this grass out of the middle of the cluster. Grass is the enemy of raspberries. They can put up with a lot, but grass is rough. This one's pretty feeble as well. So what did I do? I left four good canes out of this cluster that can grow. We'll also get a whole bunch of new growth from the base of these plants in the spring, and those canes are going to produce our crop this coming fall. Each spot where the raspberries are growing should be left with something like, as I mentioned before, 3 to 6 decent canes with the clips tipped off. The tips clipped off, excuse me.